Goalie for tonight?
Earth.
Any lineup changes to mention? You're talking the other day about the effort in the Minnesota game. You don't get the result. It's a results-oriented business. But how do you balance that message between, we want to get the wins, but you're not going to change a whole lot about what you did in that game?
No, I thought we contested pucks all over the ice. They score the goals. We don't. We have probably better, more quality chances. Just showed the video. Just showed 15, 20 minutes of the good things we did. I guess to answer your question, that's how we try to approach it. Because everybody just looks at the result.
Right.
We can't. And so there was a lot of good things. We had some correcting to do with the tape, but most of it was really good stuff.
With the power play specifically in that game, how did you feel looking back at the tape after dissecting it a little bit more?
Moved it well, moved without it well, had some opportunities. As I said after the game, I thought that Mish playing goalie against us on TK's shot was a really important time of the game. That we tie it up there to that point where we were playing pretty well. But I like some of the things on both units, too. I thought the puck movement was good.
When you guys are working the power play, there's obviously a lot of focus on being in the zone. How do you approach working on getting into the zone? That's got to be a part of it, I would think.
Yeah, we when Rocky works on it, not only would tape it on the ice, too, as far as entries, it's important. I think that's been, at least the past couple of years, that's been the inconsistent part for me. Is entering the proper way, and that's a big part of coaching the power play, is getting into the end zone. Because when you get there and you have control of the puck, you need to get out of their way a little bit too and let them create. So the foundation of a breakout is very important. Rocky spends a lot of time on it, and it's something I think we've been a little inconsistent at.
Scott Laughton has very good numbers against the Red Wings. He obviously had the 4-goal game last week. What have you seen from him in the last couple of games from maybe what you saw at the start of the season where he was maybe struggling a little bit?
Well, I like him at wing. I think wing takes a little bit more responsibility away from him. Scotty Laughton is full of glue, right? He's a glue guy for us. He does the stuff on the walls. He's in important situations, taking face-offs, not playing his end, but taking face-offs, blocking shots, killing penalties, knowing your responsibility and managing the puck through the neutral zone. It's a lot of the grind of the game that Scotty brings to us. I think he gets involved in it more on the wing, and I think it's helped him by putting him back on the wing. So Scotty wants to play more minutes, as we were talking about the other night, but I think he's in a good spot for us right now in that kind of utility knife type role that he has.
Does it help having guys like a Ryan Pelling and a Garnett Hathaway who play a little bit different? Like Garnett's more of the banger on that line. You have Ryan who has the speed, and he is the center on that line. Does it give you kind of more of a balance maybe then with those three because of what Scott does?
Yeah, and I just think they play off of one another very well. We've used that line before quite a bit here. It's a good momentum line. It's a line that gets us back in the game. They're on the ice when we score the goal, Sandy's goal. So they can do a little bit of everything. They have actually created a lot of offense. Garney, other than maybe the last game or so, but the few games prior to that, he had so many scoring chances. He just couldn't finish. So I use them against top lines. If I'm on the road and I miss with maybe Coots' line, or if Coots' line isn't playing that well, I have another line that can check also. So there's a lot of things that come into play with that line.
And there's obviously a comfort with moving Scott Laughton up the lineup then because of what he brings.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I can bump him up too, and I just like the way the lines have looked here for the last little while. Haven't had to do that, but if things aren't going well, even 6-on-5, 5-on-6, I can use him in a lot of different spots. He's an important guy, and the thing that was nice for him the other night, he kind of gets rewarded for all the that he does for this team. He gets rewarded with 4 goals, and that's just good for the group. You saw how they reacted when it happens to him, and that's what he brings to us. He's a guy that the best way I can. He's glue, and that's so important when you're building a hockey club.
I guess just to kind of base it off of Brian's first question about how do you balance scoring chances and not scoring. How do you balance it line by line then? You just mentioned how Garnett had all those chances and didn't score. How do you maybe address him or address the the feeling, I guess?
I don't address it. You just hope something good happens to him. In those type of situations offensively, I'm not going to come down on Garney because he doesn't score. There's some pretty good goalies in our game too here, so we just put them out in those spots. And those spots they're put in, playing against the top line, if they do their work the way they're supposed to, as far as being smart through the neutral, make that top line play in the end zone, they're going to end up with some chances. So they've done a pretty good job of that.
So do you use them as a checking line then?
Oh, I can use. Yeah, I've used them as a checking line. Oh yeah. I've right now the way I think we're checking very well. I think we're contesting pucks very well. Cates' line has done a really good job of that also. Quite honestly, Coots' line is the one line that has been a little inconsistent. So I can bounce around in situations using the Cates line, using the Paling line. I don't like to use Frosty's line. Misha's still trying to find his way defensively. Frosty's in and out defensively. So Bobby Brink has been a key guy on Casey's line. He's begun to learn how to check. That's important for him to stay in the lineup, and he's done a pretty good job of that.
I was just going to bounce off something Kevin asked you yesterday about when you first got here and you didn't know lots. And that first camp, Coots wasn't here. Cam Atkinson was, but I don't think he made it through the first skate. And I remember you going to him very early in that first camp to kind of deliver messages and stuff like that. So did you see something in that early stage, or was it more of the reputation? That
With Lots?
Yeah.
Just knowing who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew who he is just from playing against him and watching him play. He has to have that with him. He has that sense about him, what it is to be a pro. You look at Lots. Remember, he went down to the minors.
Right.
A lot of people scoff at that. I think we make mistakes with players is that we don't send them to the minors. It's such a great training ground. He went down there, probably wasn't happy, but came back and has become it's glue and understanding what it is to be a pro. That's what's so good about him with some young guys. It'll just rub off on them if they watch him both on and off the ice.